Hey, you guys. Welcome back to the Hey Girl, Hey podcast. I'm your host, Kaylin. Before I intro my special guest.
Oh, I was like, what's happening?
I know, literally. I forgot to say this the first time. We tried to record and there was issues. But anyway, we're back, y'all.
Take two.
Literally take two. Lori is not here.
Oh.
Because she just had wisdom teeth surgery.
Removal?
Yeah, she got her wisdom teeth out. So she's not looking her best, feeling her best, and she's in a lot of pain. So she won't be here for this episode, but I have my beautiful friend and guest, Natalie, here. Hey. And I know Natalie through cheering with her on the Cardinals for 4 seasons.
Yes.
And we've just had a strong friendship, and we've continued to be friends. So I have her to kind of get into the pro dance world, and we're going to talk about that. And as many of you guys know, I tried out for the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders last year, made it to training camp, which is so exciting. Yes. And the show actually just came out on Netflix, and we're just going to kind of use that as a base to talk about different topics about the pro dance world, talk about our experience and all that good stuff. Yay. Anyway, Natalie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course, girl. It's been a long time in the making. That's for sure.
Long time, babe.
What has been the most enchanting thing this week that's happened to you?
Yeah, so I actually just found out that I will be visiting my family in New Jersey. So got to book the tickets, but mid-July we'll be heading to the Jersey Shore, babe. So
period. What's some of the catchphrase they used to say on that show?
To be honest,
there's so many.
There's so many of them.
That era was just nostalgic.
I'm
honestly.
I would say them, but I don't want to like embarrass myself
if
I like say them incorrectly.
Oh, it's t-shirt time?
Yeah. Wait, is it GTL? Gym Tan Laundry?
Yes. Girl, you know.
I know.
Wait, are you Italian?
Yes.
Okay, period. Yeah. Yes, you are Guida or whatever. That is fantastic. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you have the time of your life in New Jersey.
Yeah. What about you?
Funny. Oh, okay. So my family and I, just to spend more time together more consistently, we've been having family nights every Thursday night. Mm-hmm. So this past week was like our 3rd family night together. And we literally, I don't know if you do this, but my niece, she's like the only baby in the family now. She's the only grandkid so far. So all we do is eat food, sit around the couch and just watch her
exist.
Yeah. And be a baby and crawl. Yeah. And she is.
Look at her do that.
No, for real. She'll like laugh and giggle.
Sneezed. Yeah.
No, for real. We act like she's like the most amazing thing ever because she is.
Yeah.
And this morning, my sister was like, Kaylin, look what she's doing. And she was like pinching like her little fingers or something and like picking stuff up with her little pinch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like I'm not a mom. I have no idea these like developmental.
Like, super. Yeah.
I'm like, awesome. And she's like, no, that's a big deal. Like most kids don't do that until they're a year old. And my niece is she's about to be 8 months.
Okay.
So she's already advanced, obviously.
She's a genius.
Yes. And this is my first time being in my auntie era. And I know you've been an aunt for some time now.
Yes. Yeah. I got 2 nieces, Hazel and Olive.
That's so awesome.
About to be 6 and the other is 3.
That's so cute.
They're so fun.
Yeah. Are their personalities just precious?
They're wild. They're wild. No, I mean, they're well behaved. Like they're the best girls. Like,
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
So, is it fun being like an aunt to girls?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like getting into dance and like they're loving it. I'm like, please love it forever.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And speaking of dancing, we obviously love to dance.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Yeah. So man, I remember watching the show and kind of seeing the audition process, and it's so weird because I know when we talked about it off camera, when we audition, it's almost like we black out.
Totally.
And we forget how not only hard it is to audition, but also what it really takes to make a pro dance team and all it consists of, and, the dancing, the interviews, what to wear and how to present yourself. There's so much that goes into it. And so to see now in like a documentary style, what I kind of went through last summer, I'm like, wait, this is wild. And not even only last summer. I'm like, this is something I've done
like for years
consistently,
so
and acting
crazy.
like this is normal.
Right.
And it's just
because it was. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
like,
it was our normal.
When you're in it, like that is the norm.
So true. Yeah. So I just wanted to know your experience with entering the pro dance world, and was it on your radar? Was it something that as a little girl I dreamed of, becoming a pro NFL cheerleader?
Yeah.
Which is a lot of women's stories, which is so beautiful. But I kind of wanted to know, like, what made you even want to audition for Cardinals in the first place?
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, no, it wasn't ever something that I saw on my radar. I grew up doing more like traditional dance, like jazz, contemporary, and that kind of stuff. Went to college for that and saw myself like dancing on a company or, like dancing on Broadway, like something not out there, but it's just more what in my mind at the time I thought of as like serious dance. Like I wanted to be like a professional dancer. That was my dream.
That's awesome.
But like things change. I got injured, so I just didn't really even know if I was going to be dancing anymore. And once I healed and got better, I was like, okay, I'll try to re-enter the dance world, thinking that cheer was easy. It was going to be easy. And I was sadly mistaken. But in the best way. It's like very physically demanding, a lot of actual, like dancing with palms, which I don't know that I was expecting. And a friend of mine, Darby, who I went to high school with, like she was auditioning, and I was like, maybe that's something that I would want to do. Or, she made the team, and I was like, I want to do that. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was what kind of made me audition, but it wasn't ever anything that I saw myself doing. But
yeah. Okay, cool. So you decided to audition because your friend was auditioning and kind of made the team first. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think my old dance teacher recommended that I try out. So similarly to you, I also went to college for like a basic degree. I started off at a community college. I danced with their company, and I love to dance. I'm like, man, I want to do this forever. And then my dance teacher, I would sub classes at my studio.
Sure.
And she was like, have you ever thought about trying out for the Rattlers? I'm like, what even is that?
Yeah.
And it's, the IFL, indoor football league. So I never went to a game or anything. And I was 18. I was a baby, and like freshly 18. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go for it. So I literally showed up, didn't know anything about it, and then ended up just making it. So
love that.
That kind of literally, started a
change the whole trajectory.
Yes. No, honestly, of my whole, how I saw dance. And I remember thinking, I didn't really know what to expect. I'm just like, I just love to dance. I'm here and whatever. Yeah. I'll do whatever. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be so physically demanding.
Yeah. Yes.
Because a lot of, in the professional dance world, it's kind of seen as a, not like how you said, not serious or, oh, you don't need that much technique or something, but the
it's
technique,
not like real dancing. And I'm like,
it's very real.
Yeah. I'm like, actually it is. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And that's something I appreciate that they showcase on the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like whatever pro dance team people do make, or people do decide to try out, it is the same base of kind of athleticism, but it's just a different style to each team.
Totally.
Like NBA is more hip hop, more grounded movements. You can have more versatile dances because it's on a wooden court. Yeah. And then NFL is very like up and on your tiptoes and more traditional.
Yeah.
And that's something that drew me to the NFL for sure.
Yeah.
But okay. So auditioning as a rookie, how was your experience with that?
Rough, babe. It was rough.
Let's get into it, girl. Let me know.
Man, I mean, I think I'd never been in that world before. So it's like, I got my little outfit, but, I had like platinum blonde hair with about roots, this long, like dark roots. No spray tan and a white outfit. Babe, we were glowing out there. Absolutely glowing. And I think I got cut just before finals.
Okay. Gotcha. So you didn't go into training camp or anything?
Not that year. I got cut right before. And I think I had mentioned when we were talking before that that was, I think in that moment I realized how much I like actually wanted it, because I feel like before it was just kind of like, whatever, like I guess I'll do this, you know.
It's like great, if not,
cool,
like
it's
whatever.
not that big of a deal. But then I like got home and cried, and I was like actually I did want to do, you know, like once you get around like all the super talented women and they're accomplished, they're nice, they're beautiful, and I'm like,
I want to be a part of this.
Yeah. So it was, you know, actually being in that environment and seeing kind of like what it was about, and that it was like real dancing, you know, that we were dancing. It felt, I was like, I want to be a part of this.
That's amazing. Okay, so you didn't make it your first year trying out.
No,
so a year goes by, and I think you did mention, you didn't make the team, but you were selected to be a part of the...
Yeah.
What's it called?
Yeah, it was like, I don't really, like a training, it was a training camp, but not like, you know, I feel like we would call it like finals if you made it to that final round. But so I got coached before finals, but then after they kind of like announced the team, they sent out an email to like a handful of girls that maybe they saw like potential in, and then invited them to like join this training camp. Oops, sorry.
There you go.
They invited us to join the training camp, which basically just consisted of us meeting kind of like a couple times a week, like a normal practice. And they just kind of taught us everything about like the AZCC style, you know, like what to wear to auditions, how to do your hair, your makeup, your headshots, resume, you know, just anything you could think of to get you ready for that audition. And it truly was, I don't want to say that I wouldn't have made it, but like, man, like that, I feel like just tightened everything up, because like obviously
everything.
You know, I had been dancing like most of my life, so it wasn't that, you know, the dance technique wasn't there, you know, whatever it was. Granted, we could always be better on our dance technique, so I'm not saying that, but you know, it was just like more so like just getting that style down was incredibly helpful, because I had never really done like pom style dancing, you know, since high school, you know, at least. So it was just totally different.
No, that's huge. And similarly to you, or I feel like any team that offers prep classes or intensives, like when I was trying out for different teams like Cardinals, I would go to their prep classes, and same thing. They would let you know what to wear, how to present yourself, what to expect. I think that gives you such an edge on also being prepared. And even before I tried out for Dallas, there's only so much training I could do on my own. But they offered like a 3-day intensive, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely going. And so I went, and man, I was able to take home so much choreography, really understand what I needed to work on, get their style. I feel like that's the biggest thing with each team, is their own unique style. In Dallas, even in the show, they couldn't even describe their own style.
It's unique.
It's very
so
unique,
cute, though.
It's very cute, and it's just everyone knows the Dallas style, and just like Cardinals, like everyone knows the Cardinals style.
Right.
So once you kind of hone that, especially before auditions, like that's how it gives you a better edge on making the team.
I'm like, so anybody out there that is
honestly
looking to audition, go take their prep class, because
prep classes,
it shows that you care first and foremost,
and it allows the coach to see you before, the girls on the team to see you before, because you never know who is going to be in that judging room also that can vouch for you too. I remember seeing a few of the people that were on staff on the judges side of things, and who knows, maybe some of them were like, you know what, she showed up for intensive and I know how badly she wants this, and let's, you know, give her a chance. Yeah,
totally.
So that's definitely good advice for people who do want to get into that. Okay, so you made the team your second go around?
After
Woo!
that.
She made it, y'all.
After that training camp, thank God. I made the team after that. It was awesome.
That's incredible. Kind of when you make the team, or when you actually backing it up a bit, before you make the team, what are some of the things that I guess that not make you a cheerleader, but what are like the expectations for the job, so to speak? Like, what are the judges looking for, even in your opinion?
I mean, once again, I can really only speak to Cardinals, because that's the only pro team I've ever done or auditioned for. But I feel like it's not just about the dancing. It's of course, that's a good part of it. Have to be able to remember the choreography and, you know, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think they also look at like, are you like just a well-rounded person? You know, like, who are you? Who's your family? You know, like, what do you do? Do you go to school? Like, what do you do in your extra time? Like, so I think it's equally as important to show up as like, and represent like who you are, like your best self, in that room. Because ultimately, you know, you're representing the team. So it's like, they got to know that you're going to represent them well. So you gotta show up.
Yeah. I like to think of it as like in categories. And they even, when watching the show and what they're saying that they're looking for, they touch on how dancing is only 50% of the job, which is so true. It's definitely a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
But like you said, they're looking for who you are, like who you are as a person. What do you care about? What are some of the things that are important to you? How do you carry yourself? So that's like
totally
your personhood. And then also your appearance. Do you look good on camera?
Right.
Can you hold a conversation?
Right.
So like,
because you're going to be speaking with fans.
You're going to be speaking with fans. You're going to be speaking with even staff on the team you're auditioning for, and again, representing the organization. I'm trying to think of other things. Yeah,
I mean, that's a good.
I feel like that's the biggest thing. Yeah. Like, do you look cute? Do you look good?
Yeah.
And can you dance?
Can you speak?
Can you speak? Yeah, honestly, that kind of. And do you care about bigger things in life?
Right.
I guess. Yeah, because it is a platform, and you do want girls that carry that platform well and not, I don't know, take advantage of it, so to speak. So. Yeah, there is a lot of factors that go into making a team. So,
totally,
oh man. And then, sorry, before we get off the audition topic, do you know what I'm going to say next?
I'm sure I do.
So making it as a rookie.
Yes.
And getting cut as a rookie, you know, obviously very sad.
Sure.
It's challenging, but getting cut as a vet.
Eat.
Girl, you want to just share your experience with that?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, I made it my first year, did the whole season. That's not the unfortunate part. Unfortunately,
the season was great.
Yeah, the season was fine.
Fine is crazy.
The season was fine. I made it through. I survived.
Yeah,
by the grace of God. And basically, I had went to the audition to return for my second season. Yeah. And I was cut. I made it through the whole thing, you know, so like made it to finals, and was cut right before the reveal video. So the video for Cardinals, at least, we have a video that's made during the audition process.
Yeah.
Which you kind of put on the uniform, you do a little thing, so that if you make the team, you're on the video, and that's kind of how it's presented to the world, but also to us, you know, like that's
how you found out.
That's when we found out we made the team. So I went through the whole process, and then, you know, right before the video came out, the coach at the time, she gave me a call to let me know I wasn't going to be on that video.
When did she give you that phone call?
Minutes before the video.
Girl, minutes is crazy.
minutes, babe.
Moment of silence for the minute.
Yeah.
Lord.
Listen, I'm so happy to be on the other side of it, you know, like, and that I can laugh about it now, because like, it was devastating.
Yeah.
I cried. I held it together as best as I could on that call. And, you know, just thanked her, you know, for the opportunity, and, you know, that I learned so much, and blah, 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 you know, whatever. Yeah. And so, yeah. And then the video came out, and that was it.
Girl.
So that was hard. I don't want to say I feel like it's dramatic to say, like,
yeah,
but that's a core memory for me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Impacts you.
It was hard. That was a really hard thing for me. I think just like when all your friends, you know, like make it back, everybody's still there. And then, you know, it's just like to not be a part of it, but you still, you know, see your girls and hang out with your girls. And that's what we all have in common. So that's what we all talk about when we're together, you know, so it's like they would be talking about the team, and I would just kind of be like, you know, like, you know, listen, and I'll be supportive. I'm so happy it's not their fault, you know?
Yeah, of
course.
course.
But anyway, that's beside the point. But, it was just like, it was a hard transition to not make it when all your friends made it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can only imagine how hard that must be, especially because as a vet, you know what's at stake and you know what there is to lose. Totally. And you just were on the team and you have these close bonds. And even on the show, it shows like towards the beginning of the second episode, 3 veterans getting cut. And I remember, being one of the rookies that gets called and you're so excited.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see the vets crying and you're like, oh my gosh, like you're breaking apart the old squad.
Yeah.
The old group of girls, and then you are forming a new team, but your members, your friends, your best friends that you've gone through so much, you went through an entire season, sometimes more,
hell and back.
These are girls that have been ride or die since your first, second, third, even fourth season, and now they're no longer a part of it. And it's unexpectedly. You have a lot of questions in your mind. It's hard for the girls who are getting cut, obviously, and then the girls who are friends and who are super close with girls who are getting cut. So it was a super emotional day. And some people might look like, duh, that's to be expected. Like, and not everyone can make it back. But I've had some years where every single vet makes it back.
It does happen.
It does happen, And some years where there's only like 6 spots on the team, and it's just super competitive and cutthroat. So, but that's really unfortunate. And well, I will say it's amazing that you were able to still, or I guess chose to still be a part of so many of the outside activities we had. Like we've had like annual wig parties, that we invited people to come, and they're always a part. Once you're a part of the sisterhood, you're always a part of the sisterhood.
Totally.
So I still remember, even though that was my rookie year, the year I made it, and the year you weren't technically on the team officially. It still felt like you were part of the team from my perspective. Because I was like, literally, I was like, that's my girl, Natalie. Like, what? And then, leadership change for Cardinals, and we got a new coach.
Love that.
So then you decided to try out.
I did. One of the girls that I was rookies with, and she had made it back. She called me the night after the practice that y'all had, where it was announced that she was
resigning,
leaving.
As coach. I cannot, girl.
We won't get into that. I'm just kidding. But, a friend had called and she said, I just want to let you know, like, she's leaving. Like, and I said, say less, and so I just, that for me, that was a moment that I was like, okay, like I'm going to start training now. Cause that was before really football season had even started. That was right at the beginning of the season for you guys. So I had the whole season really to like get ready again. Cause I always knew that I was going to come back.
That's
I
awesome.
Never, well, let me not be too overly confident. I guess I just always knew I would try again.
That's
say
awesome.
But I knew I was going to have to wait until she left, or I wanted to wait until she left. I just didn't think it was going to be that soon.
No, I literally had no idea. I was in there for 2 minutes. And then all of a sudden they're like, you're going to get a new coach. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, all right.
Honestly, love that for you.
No, believe I've heard the stories. So anyway, we're not getting into that.
We're not
But
doing that.
That is too funny. But so you made it back, and then that was technically both of our second years. We were able to go throughout the seasons together.
2, 3, and 4. We were together.
2, 3, and 4, baby. Hold on. Sorry. Pausing briefly because I want to see. Okay. What it takes to make. Okay. So I guess kind of diving into more of the concept of fitting the mold of what it takes to be a professional cheerleader. So, the judges are looking for a certain mold, a certain thing. Yeah. But then also we're told, be yourself, show us your personality and all this stuff. And then the two can sometimes, not really mesh.
Yeah. It's like, be yourself, but not too much.
No, but honestly. And so one of the things I also want to get into, it kind of all blends together, but in the show, it shows the girls trying on the uniforms, and I got cut. Thankfully, before I tried on that uniform, I'm honestly so grateful.
Yeah.
The sooner you cut me, if you know it in your heart I'm not going to make the team, the better.
Yeah.
Like
to try on the uniform would have been hard.
Honestly, but to me, I can't take that.
No.
Like I'm way too
That's brutal.
attached.
Yeah.
Like I get attached very quick, and if I saw myself in that
you envision
iconic,
it. Yeah.
yes.
Once you have it on, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, oh man, I feel for the girls.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they show the girls try on their uniforms, and they're saying, man, the uniform is fit to you. So, you're getting tailored it to your body, but also they're looking for a specific type of body because the uniform is the mold or something. So it's this weird, I don't know. I found it weird to watch, not weird to watch, but just like, okay, so you want girls who are uniquely different, but then you want them to fit this mold, but then the uniform is fit to them. But if they don't look good in the uniform, then they're not fitting the mold.
Right.
Can we just
let's unpack that?
Yes. And does it make sense? And I don't know. I feel like that's just something I've wrestled with while being on the team, and also wrestled with now being out of that world for a little bit. We've retired 2 years now. And kind of watching that back, I'm like, wait a minute, that's actually really mentally, like, I'm perplexed watching this.
Yeah. I think you don't really realize it at the time.
Yeah.
But I remember, maybe this doesn't sound dramatic, but I feel like I remember, being on game day or whatever it is. And it's like, you have the uniform on and you're like, man, I look like crap. You just you're looking at everybody else. Everybody's got, abs. Everybody looks good. Everybody looks great.
Yeah.
And for me, you look at yourself and you're like, I wish I looked like that, but then in turn, people think that of you too, so it's just like, but you don't really think about that like in the moment, but it's like, I remember feeling like that. And then I look back at the photos now and I'm like,
you looked amazing.
Yeah. And I was like,
what was I even thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like messing with the, thinking, something doesn't look right or it's too tight here and whatever. And it's like, looking at it now, I'm like, babe, there's nothing there.
No, honestly. And kind of getting into like, I don't know, I guess the body image aspect of the job. The uniforms are what they are.
Can't hide in them.
No, you can't hide. There's nowhere to hide. They are very cute.
Very.
And oh my gosh, I remember trying on my Cardinals uniform for the first time, the signature white uniform. First of all, that is my favorite uniform. Iconic uniform, yeah. And I remember feeling so powerful in that uniform and feeling like a superhero.
Yeah.
And feeling perfect, for lack of a better word. But then you're stressed out about being perfect, looking perfect, how you came into audition is what you expect to have the whole season. And as a woman, especially as a woman, that could be hard because hormones are hormoning.
Yes.
And then also, gosh, we were on the team for 4 seasons. Who I was when I made the team, honey, I was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed 21-year-old. Literally, like 21, 22-year-old. And then I'm retiring as a 25, 24-year-old.
Yeah.
And lots of changes.
Yeah, things change.
Yeah. And something else I wanted to touch on in the show, Kelly pulls out the shorts from the 1980s.
Oh, yeah.
And then she shows the shorts that the girls wear now. And the design is exactly the same. The length of them are exactly the same. They're the same pair of shorts.
Yeah.
But the only difference is the new pair of shorts that they wear now have rhinestones on them. So they're a little bit more glammed up. And Kelly was like, see, I get accused of making the shorts shorter and all this stuff, but the proof is in the pudding. That's exactly what she said. And she's like, see, they haven't changed since the 1980s.
Yeah.
And they even touched on that our culture in the world today, curves are celebrated and almost like being thick is celebrated, and you don't have to be, abs on 10 and super
not in this
skinny.
World, honey.
But then in the pro dance
world, babe,
it's been the same.
Yeah.
When she put up the shorts, I was like, is that something we should be celebrating? Yeah. Like, is that a good thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your thoughts about that? Of just like the overall uniform and kind of like the beauty standards within pro dance. I feel like there's a beauty standard that's accepted around our culture today, and then within the pro dance world, it looks kind of different.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of a touchy subject.
Yeah. No, it is.
So it's hard to say because I agree that curves should like be celebrated. I think it's interesting when it just comes to dance. I mean, we're working out so much too, though. True. It's kind of hard. Like,
yeah.
I mean, for me at least, I was so stressed. You know, you're hardly eating, or like you're always eating on the go. You know, so it's like I was just like naturally thin just from like,
yes,
I feel like working out so much and maybe not eating as much as I should have, you know, not like purposefully not eating, but it's when you're exercising and dancing so much all the time and always on the go, it was hard for me, I think, to like maintain that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man, it's at the end of the day, I think like every body is different.
Amen.
So it's like, what looks good on me, you know, in my body frame would look different, you know, on somebody else. So I think what I loved about Cardinals is that it wasn't everybody fit like a specific mold, or like people always think that like we're weighed or like we do weight checking, you know, things like that. But it was like, no, like if you just like eat healthy and stay on top of your stuff, that was all like our coach cared about. It was,
I agree.
like if you look good, then like it doesn't really matter what your weight is, doesn't make, but
yeah.
It's hard to
no,
say.
100%. I do think that this is a touchy subject, and I'm really glad that the documentary does kind of dive into it. I've only watched 2 episodes, but I'm sure they probably talk about it more. Because that is a misconception too, that we just don't eat. And like you said,
we do.
Girl, I can slam down a meal.
Yeah,
let me
quite
tell
a
you
bit
right now.
actually. Yeah.
Like quite a bit.
Should see the locker room on game day.
No, but honestly, but and people might be surprised, like, wow, like they do eat a lot,
yeah,
because you are out there dancing the entire game. So let's say 4-hour game typically. Nonstop cardio. I think even one girl wore, with the long sleeve uniform, she wore like her Apple Watch, and she burnt like 4,000 calories, something crazy like that, just like in the thousands. And I remember thinking like, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And I feel for the women that do struggle trying to maintain a certain physique while on the team, because like you said, every body is different. So your body type, you know, the cardio might not be enough, or so to speak, or so extra training needs to go into that. But I know for me personally, in my experience, I didn't even think about it. Like my body was never, not like never on my mind, but I wasn't thinking like, oh, I have to work out. I have to eat this.
Yeah, it was never like that.
Or else I'm going to get kicked off.
Right.
But that was my personal experience.
Right.
And like you said, it's just like, dang, we were on the go so much, and at practice so much, and dancing constantly. I mean, our practice was like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I would say 3. So 2 days a week, that's 6 hours of dancing, and then a 4-hour game day.
Right. But then it's like you're practicing your routines at home.
Correct.
You're working out on your own. You know, are on top of it. So it's like it was an everyday
thing. Every day you're active. Yeah. It's like, we were athletes at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So maintaining the physique part really wasn't on top of my mind.
Same.
But I do feel for the girls where it doesn't come as easy, so to speak. And that can be a real struggle.
Yeah.
And also it's it's what's expected of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's almost just like this unspoken.
Yeah.
It is. I mean,
like you kind of know what you sign up for.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you have to, if you're going to put on the uniform, you gotta look a certain way.
Yeah.
There is just like this unspoken like expectation. So it's not like anybody ever comes in and you're like, you have to like look like that. You know, it's like we all just come in knowing that it's like you have to come correct, basically.
Yeah.
This
like, is what expected. Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah. And I have seen teams kind of change up their uniforms too, of like maybe doing a jumpsuit or like higher waisted things. And so that's why I'm like, dang, the Dallas uniform is so iconic because it hasn't changed. But I'm wondering, as time goes on, will it ever change due to?
Hope not. I mean,
I don't know. Listen, I know as a cover girl myself.
Yeah,
girl, I got them hips. I got a booty on me.
She got the booty, y'all.
Y'all, if I tried on that uniform, I'm telling you right now, they'd be like, it's a no for me.
Yeah, stop.
No, not even because I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with my body.
Sure.
But I'm saying not all body types. I don't know. It gets kind of tricky because it's like, I know I don't have to change my body. I'm not overweight. I'm not unhealthy.
Yeah.
Well, when I was dancing, I had abs, you know?
I'm like, she still does.
Absolutely not. But like, there was nothing wrong with it. But also, I do need bigger pair of shorts. I'm a size large on my shorts.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, dang, I almost, not that I wish I tried on the uniform, but I'm curious to see what they would.
What the booty cheeks
would
look like.
would. Oh, no, but honestly, because they were spilling.
You know what I mean?
But anyway.
We digress.
Yeah, but I feel like as long as you fuel your body healthily.
Totally.
And, you know, you're getting good sleep, and which is so hard to do on our schedule. Y'all, a lot of people don't know this, but most, if not all, the cheerleaders have full-time careers.
Yeah.
On top of what they do part-time with, you know, their dancing job, they're being on the team, and then whatever else you got going on.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You know what I mean? So either you're going to school full-time or working full-time. So it is hard to meal prep and do all that stuff. And yeah, sometimes it's like, I'm hungry after practice and McDonald's is literally the only thing open.
Filibertos. Do you know?
Can we be real? Like, listen.
And especially after a game, I'm like,
yes, I would always eat a big thing of pasta after every game because I'm just so depleted of my energy. I need my carbs.
Meal, after game day meal.
That hits
different.
It does hit different. Oh my gosh. And taking off your boots after game day and relaxing.
Yeah, just existing really after it's over is about all you can do.
No, but honestly. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me look at my notes.
For sure.
Okay. One big thing I do want to kind of get into. So there's a direct quote I pulled from the show.
Sure.
And they said, when you make the team, the girl, like, you know, when the girls make the team, they find their passion and they find their purpose. And then they have one of the veterans kind of did this clip. I think it's in the teaser as well, where she's like, yeah, they tell me not to make DCC my life and like my identity. But isn't it?
Totally.
And then the trailer ends like with that, like, but isn't it? First of all,
iconic.
And also, which we'll get into our later episode.
Yeah.
I don't even know the question really, but basically what I'm trying to get at is, you know, you're told to, you know, you make the team, you're on this team, you know, you're told to have a life outside the team, you know, you do whatever.
Yeah.
It becomes all consuming.
Oh yeah.
It's the biggest
everything.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to be dramatic, but really it is everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like the longer you're in that world, the harder it is to transition out of that world.
I'm like, stop, I'm going to start crying.
I know, literally. Like I want to save that for a later episode, but I guess like, how do you balance while being on the team in that world, not making it your entire identity? Or is it your identity for that time?
Yeah.
Like, what's your experience with that, I guess?
Man. It's just, I think it's kind of, I mean, maybe it is dramatic, but it's like, it's kind of impossible for it to not become everything. Cause it's when you apply and you do all these things, you know, it's brought to you as that it's like a part-time job, but it's not at all. It's not at all a part-time job. It's an all the time thing. You're always on when you're in the community, whether you have the uniform on or not, like you're a Cardinals cheerleader or you're like an NFL cheerleader. So yeah,
that's so
it's like
true.
That'll just always be like a part of you. So it's hard to let that go. And it's hard. Yeah. It's, man,
no, when they said that, I was like, why am I in tears?
Yeah. No,
like,
it totally becomes a part of your identity, and then that's how people know you as well, and people ask about it, and you know, and then when you're not doing it anymore, you're like, you know, it's
the bigger life questions.
That's tough,
dude. I remember recently I went out to lunch with my team. There's only 2 people on my team, a small team, but anyway, this was at my my corporate job.
Yeah.
And my boss was like, "Oh, Kaylin used to be an NFL cheerleader."
Yeah,
like
yeah,
she
yeah.
kind of dropped it.
Yeah.
It was somewhat in relative to the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, she was talking about how she went to an NBA game and saw the dancers there.
Yeah.
And then so she's like, "Oh, remember, used to do that." I was like, "Oh yeah." And then the new person on our team, she's whatever new. She was like, "Wait, you cheered for the NFL?" And I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And literally in that moment, I was like, when was the last time I talked about this?
No, it's
almost like a fever dream. And kind of like we were talking about before, like when you're auditioning and when you're in it and then when you're out of it, it feels like a dream.
Yeah.
It feels like a dream when it feels like a dream when you're in it.
Yeah.
It feels like a dream when you're out of it.
Yeah.
The literal proof is in the photos, the videos, and obviously
I'm like, oh, I did that.
No, for real. And me watching the show, and again, I've only made it to like training camp week 1.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I'm looking at it from a new perspective. I'm like, I cannot believe I did that.
Yeah, it's wild.
No, that's crazy. And plus, like, making a team is not easy.
No.
Any team.
I mean, like hundreds of girls audition and then like 30 people make it. But not even that, because it's like a lot of the times, like you said, there's only like 6 spots open.
Yes.
So it's like out of those hundreds of people, only like 6 new people joined. Like that's crazy.
Wild. Yeah. It definitely depends on the year, but still.
It's an honor.
It is an honor. And so I'm watching the show with such gratitude.
Yeah.
Not only for that experience, but also all my pro dance years. I'm like, man, that was really, really cool. And I'm so grateful that, the Lord decided to write that in our stories because, girl, we wouldn't even have met.
I know.
You wouldn't even be on this couch.
No, it's so crazy.
No, it is. And so I'm so grateful that not only we got to dance and live out our dream, but also form connections. That's also another like pinch me moment. I'm like, oh, how do you know your friend like so and so? And you're like, oh, we used to cheer together. And then it's like, wow, we went through that together.
Yeah,
like it really
like
is
a once in a lifetime experience that, like how we were saying earlier, it's like that just like bonds you like forever. Like there will just always be like that sisterhood of that. So it's very special. It is very special, and it's cool as alumni now. We get to go back and do events and cheer at alumni games and still be connected in some way, because you'll always be connected no matter what, even if you cheered 1 year or whether you cheered all 4. Still did it.
It's an amazing thing to be a part of.
Well,
yay. Okay, well, I'm cool ending right there. Okay, awesome.
Sure.
Well, just to kind of wrap, what is the biggest misconception? Okay, maybe a 2-parter if you want to answer both. What's the biggest misconception in your opinion about NFL cheerleaders? And what's like the wildest question you've been asked as an NFL cheerleader?
I feel like we kind of touched on this earlier, but I feel like a lot of people just assume like that's all we do.
Yes. Like they're shocked to learn
that we're like actually like functioning like human beings, like outside of
like the citizens of
do you know
society?
What I mean? Yeah, like that I actually like can form a sentence. No, I'm just kidding. But, no, but it's like I feel like that's probably the biggest misconception is people I think just assume that about us, and it's like no, like we're all like established women, like and, like have big goals and big things that we're doing. Like a lot of the women like have their own businesses. It's like
so true.
It's a lot of like just really amazing women. So I think that's the biggest one, I think, for me. And then the questions were always kind of like the same, but it was always like, like how much do you make? Like, or, maybe this is weird to say, but like other women that would be like, oh, I would never look like that in the uniform, or like you don't eat, right? Like and it wasn't only women, but like just I guess fans in general will just be like, y'all probably don't eat, and it's just kind of awkward. But like,
no, it is. Like, what do you say to that?
No, I'm like,
we definitely
do. Yeah, just can't eat in uniform.
No, yeah,
but so I feel like those were probably like the 2 questions I heard.
I
most,
agree.
Or like, I guess that's not really a question, but like a comment.
No, I agree. Another one that people are like curious about is there a lot of drama on the team? That's something I would get a lot. Or do you date the players?
That's like how could I forget that question?
That's like the top one. It's like if there's a 5 question, it's do you eat? What do you have a job? This is your only job. Do you get along with the girls? Do you get paid? And do you date the players? That's like top 5.
I forgot about the date the players one. That is, yeah. And I'm like, really? But that is, everybody wants to know that or like assumes that. And I'm like, couldn't be further from the truth actually.
No, but yeah. I mean, just to be real, it's like in our contract of no fraternizing and there are consequences. But then again, we're adults and there's free will choice.
Sure.
So if you want to risk it for the biscuit,
by all means, babe, but not us.
No, honestly, because you can lose your position on the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, if you think about it, even in a regular workplace,
same thing.
Yeah, that isn't really encouraged.
Yeah.
You know, you're here to do a job and, you know, a respectable job.
Right. And I mean, all of us have worked so hard to get to that point. I'm like, you think I'm going to risk it for that?
No.
all my years of dancing, everything that I've done to work on this, I'm not letting go of that.
No, it's not worth it. I'm like, if it's true love, you can wait until I retire
at
this point. But yeah, anyway, Natalie, thank you so much for being on here, girl.
Anytime.
I had so much fun, and we'll definitely have Natalie back again. But thank you so much for listening, you guys, and we'll be back for another episode. Thanks. Bye.